Transition Tuesday. I'm Jane. This is Joe. Today in our last year of school series, we're going to be talking about the ABCs of DSPs. What is a DSP? That is a direct support professional. That is somebody who provides care for a person with a disability in their homes or in an institutional setting, and they are vital to somebody like Joe. They're a very important part of their life. I wanted to talk about this today because there is a national crisis. 45% average turnover. Lack of funding, lack of worker incentives. This is statistical information from the ARC of Georgia. What that means is, like many other areas of employment, there is such a shortage of people, and the people who do these jobs don't stay very long. They're hard to replace because, frankly, the pay is not very good, and the people who are most who look for these jobs most are often immigrants, and immigration laws have made it challenging for those people to keep a job, keep work, and the families depend on these people. So when they have issues, we have issues, and that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Another factor that's important to know about regarding the national situation with direct support professionals, because of the things I was talking about before with low wages and, problematic laws, there sometimes people who are not the cream of the crop apply for these jobs, and families and people who hire these professionals need to have better access to background information, particularly around reports of abuse and neglect, because that is a rampant situation, particularly for people like Joe who can't report when someone is being abusive or neglectful. A Department of Labor report from 2018. That's 2018, it's 2022, but this was the most recent I could find, said that 45 million people work in the direct support professional field. 87% are women, and 53% are women of color. So the people who are taking these jobs are typically people who would be in the low wage marketplace, either because of, they have kids. Bless you. There's single parents. There's people who have a high school diploma, people who are in poverty, experiencing poverty. So these people are desperate for work, and they're looking for jobs in a field that they can do, and they are not very well paid for this very important work. It's a big challenge on so many levels, and I'm only giving you the quick version. I could probably spend a year talking about just this thing. Direct support professionals are responsible for helping a person with everyday, personal, intimate aspects of their lives. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about for Joe. She helps him shower. Joe has a direct support professional that we've had for many, many years. We're very fortunate. We have not experienced the 45% turnover. I think it's because we have a relationship with our direct support person. And if she's watching this, you know we love you, Rebecca. So she is responsible for, right? It is the sweetest thing when she says goodbye to Joe, by the way. I should video it. Maybe I will. I hope you're ready for this, Rebecca. So anyway, everyday personal, intimate aspects of their lives. So Rebecca helps Joe with showering, with hygiene, right? She's your companion. Sometimes she picks you up from the school bus. Of course, she won't have to do that next year. But she is your person, right? Your all-around person. And that is invaluable. That is so invaluable. I don't even know. That's the only word I can come up with at the moment. In Georgia, DSPs are paid by Medicaid waiver funding. Or if you're lucky enough to be very wealthy, you can just pay a direct support person out of pocket, whatever you choose. The job description can be whatever you choose, but that is not typical, that situation. So when I say Medicaid funding, for you caregivers out there who are transition planning, that means now or COMPWaiver. And that's funded through the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disability in Georgia. And there is a long waiting list. And so I would recommend, if you're a parent watching this video, apply, because you will be on a waiting list. And when your child is out of school, this direct support professional will be a very important part of your person's life. So just a word to the wise, do the NOW and COMP application if you think your child is going to require assistance with their daily living. Just saying. Direct support people are well-trained, need to be well-trained, fairly compensated, respected, because, as I said, they are essential. Now, according to the agencies who hire a direct support professional, this is the language that they use to describe the responsibilities of that job. Help develop social, behavioral, money, household management. Provide feedback on goals. That would be goals from the ISP, which is the individual support plan, which is like the IEP. It's the plan, the care plan for a waiver recipient. So that's the goals they're talking about. Provide supervision and guidance to the individual, and develop a rapport and document progress on those ISP goals. Here's my translation of those job skills. Help Joe with daily needs like position changes, hygiene, communication, and access to his community. Fill out the required paperwork to track on his ISP goals, and be Joe's person. That's a lot. It's a big job. So if you have a waiver and you are just starting this process of finding a direct support professional for your person, there are two choices. You can go through an agency, or you can do what's called participant direction, which means that you are hiring that person. You're the employer, whoever, is the person, that care. Usually it's mom or dad. So here is what Glassdoor, which is a job recruitment website, says about a direct support professional job. This is kind of an average of what I saw posted on Glassdoor. $12 per hour was the average, and the range was $11 to $13 per hour. CNA certification, which that used to be certified nursing assistant. Resume with 5 years experience. CPR first aid certification. TB skin test. Tuberculosis, in case you don't know what TB is. They have to have a physical, and they have to have a clean driving record, which that's a background check. So here's the thing that I struggle with. That's a pretty low paying wage. And they are requiring this person to jump through a lot of hoops. Now, most of the time, if you're being hired by an agency, they're going to pay for the background check. They're going to pay for the CPR certification, or will assist with it. They'll pay for the TB skin test once you're hired. So if you're looking for a job, you have to jump through all those hoops, which is a barrier. Most of the people who have all those things are currently working for an agency, and they're looking to job hop. So you can see there's a lot of barriers there. But, if you're already working for an agency, not so much. But if you're a person a family who just got a waiver, and you're trying to find somebody, if you go through an agency, they're going to do all that for you. But if you go participant directed, where you're an individual hire, it's good to have an idea of what agencies require so that you kind of know some things to ask. So if you go participant direct, they still require a TB test and a background check. And the good thing about that is you have more flexibility with what you pay the person and what you're going to require of them. So it's complicated. All of a sudden, if you're doing a participant direct waiver, you become an employer. And although you don't handle the payroll, that's done through a fiscal agent as required by law for the comp and now waivers, you still are choosing the person. So here are some qualities to look for. They have to be empathetic. They have to be responsible. They have to be flexible. And they have to have discernment. They have to be discerning. In other words, they have to be able to make quick, good judgments, sound judgments, because they are there to support this person. And sometimes there's family members around, and sometimes there isn't. So the direct support person becomes the lifeline. So, I'm just giving you the quick version of this, but I can't say enough about this issue for families who have their person living with them, or for families who opt to or have to, or for individuals with disabilities who are living in, a residential program or a group home. These direct support professionals are the lifeline because they perform essential tasks for people with disabilities. And I probably, like I said before, could spend a year talking about this and still not have enough information out there to adequately explain what this is. What do you think? So, if you want some more information, there are DSP certification programs that are becoming more prevalent around the state. And the good thing about a direct support certification process is that it gives a direct support person adequate or better training. In many states, the person with the disability or people with disabilities are included in the training process. So part of your training as a direct support professional would be to spend time learning hands-on with a person with a disability, which I think is fabulous, because this way you're not jumping into the deep end of the pool and discovering, oh my goodness, I can't do this job, and then you back out, and then the person like me who hired you is faced with having to repeat the whole direct support hiring process over again. So I think that's a really important thing to know about this, is that the training and support of this individual who wants to do this essential job is so important. And then with the certification could come potentially better pay, access to benefits, which typically people who are just direct support professionals do not have benefits like insurance coverage or things like that, which would be a really important way to improve the quality of people applying for these jobs, the quality of life for the people who do these jobs, and then trickle down to quality of life for the people they serve. So that's why I mention this. If you want to know more about that, you can go to the National Alliance for Direct Support Professionals, NADSP.org. And if you have a dog in this fight, or you have a person with a disability that you love and care about, and you want them to have good direct support professional staff, then it might be worth looking into. So that's what we're talking about for today. Joe, do you agree that a direct support person is very important to you? Is Rebecca very important to you? Touch my hand or tell me with your voice. Is Rebecca important to you? Come on, final thoughts, bud. Is Rebecca important to you? I see your smile. Yes, she is. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.